Okay, let's just get right into it. This is the one question, the big question, that every single person asks before they dive into the world of e-commerce. You've got an idea, you're fired up, but is building a Shopify store actually worth it financially? We're going to cut through all the noise and get to the real numbers.
And here it is. This is the magic number everyone Googles, right? You just want a simple, straightforward answer so you know what you're getting into. And yeah, there's a number that gets thrown around a lot.
There you go, $5,583 per month. That's the figure you'll see quoted as the average Shopify revenue. I mean, that's over 67 grand a year. Sounds pretty nice, doesn't it? A solid income. But, and this is a huge but, here's the absolute truth. While that number is super interesting, for someone like you who's just starting out, it's basically useless. It gives you a totally warped picture of what reality is going to look like when you're just getting off the ground. Let's talk about why.
This all comes down to what I call the average revenue myth. See, the problem is that an average is just math. It gets completely thrown off by a few absolute giants. We're talking about brands like Huel or Gymshark that make millions. They pull that average number way, way up into the stratosphere.
And this really shows you the difference. On one side, you have that crazy, skewed average. But on the other side, you have the typical reality. And the reality is that over 60% of new stores make less than $1,000 a month during their first year. That is the number you should be focused on. That's the real starting line.
This chart just says it all, doesn't it? Look at that huge bar on the left. That's where most people start, just finding their footing. Then you've got a smaller group that breaks into that middle tier. And that tiny little sliver on the right, those are the outliers. Your real goal is to work your way from that first bar to the second one, not to magically appear at the average.
So, if the average doesn't matter, what does? What really determines how much you can make? Well, more than anything else, it comes down to your business model. The path you pick pretty much sets the rules for your potential revenue and, more importantly, your profit.
And this table just lays it all out for you. You can see the trade-offs. You've got dropshipping and print on demand, which is super easy to start with almost no money, but look at those profit margins. They're pretty thin, and that kind of caps your potential. Then there's private label, which takes a big investment up front, but your reward is much better margins and a real shot at scaling big. And then you've got digital products, low cost to start, but with insane 80% plus margins and a sky-high ceiling if you know your stuff.
Now we're getting to the most important lesson in all of e-commerce. Revenue is for show, profit is for dough. Seriously, revenue is a vanity metric. It makes you feel good, but it doesn't pay your rent. Profit is the money you actually take home. You could have a store making 10 grand in revenue, but if it costs you 9.5 grand to run it, you're only making $500.
So, to find that all-important profit number, you have to subtract your costs. For pretty much every online store, they fall into these four main buckets: the cost of the actual product you're selling, your Shopify plan and any apps you use, all the money you spend on marketing and ads, and of course, what it costs to ship the thing to your customer.
Okay, let's make this real. Imagine you make a $100 sale. Awesome. But where does that $100 actually go? Well, $40 might go straight to buying the product. Another $25 might go to the ads that brought the customer in. $15 could get eaten up by fees and shipping, and what's left for you? $20. A healthy profit margin is often just 10 to 20%. That's the real world.
Okay, we get the numbers, but the next question is, how long does all this take? How long until you're actually profitable? And the single most important thing to remember here is that this is a marathon, not a sprint. Building a real, sustainable business takes time.
And here is a perfect example of why. The average conversion rate for a Shopify store is just 1.4%. Think about what that means. For every 100 people that visit your site, you can expect maybe one, maybe two to actually buy something. Building real momentum means you have to drive a lot of traffic, and you have to do it consistently over weeks and months.
This timeline right here, this is what a realistic journey looks like. Your first 3 months are all about just proving the concept. Your only goal is to get your first 10 sales, and you'll probably lose money doing it. Then, from months 3 to 6, you're trying to find your footing and just break even. It's usually in that second half of the year that you can start pushing for consistent profit. And only after a solid year can most stores even think about scaling up to a full-time income.
All right, enough theory. We understand the landscape, we know it's a marathon, so how do you actually run the race? Let's get into your actionable playbook for how to actually make this happen and grow your store.
Here it is, your 5-step playbook. First, you have to nail your niche and find products that actually have good profit margins. Second, make your store look amazing. Great photos, good copy, customer reviews to turn visitors into buyers. Third, and this one is so important, master one marketing channel. Don't try to be on TikTok and Google and Facebook all at once. Pick one and get good at it. Fourth, use email to get your existing customers to come back and buy again. It's the cheapest marketing there is. And finally, you have to live inside your Shopify analytics. Know your numbers.
So, after all of this, what's the big takeaway? It's this. Your earnings have almost nothing to do with those misleading averages. Success in e-commerce isn't about luck. It's about your strategy, your choices, and your willingness to dig into the data and make smart, informed decisions. It's in your hands.
Look, the potential to build a profitable business from scratch is absolutely real. It's not hiding in some statistical report, it's waiting for you to create it. So the only question that really matters now is, what are you going to build?